Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. Yahweh B'Hashem Barakatah. Before I get this lesson started, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai B'Hashem Rakakodash, and double honors to the elders and the apostles, the great millstone of whom I learn from, and shalom to the hope elect, taking this truth to the four corners of the earth, bidding the elect spirits of Yasharallah to the marriage supper of the Lamb, who is Yahweh Shai. This is your brother Adah with some more on the man of sin. I want to try to see if I can point something out again. Listen to Bush speak. These are code words. It means something.
1,000 points of light. I've spoken of 1,000 points of light. I've spoken of 1,000 points of light. I've spoken of 1,000 points of light. Of all the community organizations that are spread like stars throughout the nation doing. I've spoken of 1,000 points of light. Of all the community organizations that are spread like stars throughout the nation doing good. I've spoken of 1,000 points of light. Of all the community organizations that are spread like stars throughout the nation doing good. We will work hand in hand, encouraging, sometimes leading, sometimes being led, rewarding. We will work on this in the White House, in the cabinet agencies. I will go to the people and the programs that are the brighter points of light, and I'll ask every member of my...
He said brighter points of light. What is that? That means hierarchy. Listen to this.
Government to become involved. Work on this in the White House, in the cabinet agencies. I will go to the people and the programs that are the brighter points of light, and I'll ask every member of my government to become involved.
Points of light is speaking about illuminists, people who are illuminated, people who are operating on left-handed wisdom. We understand that in the wisdom of Solomon, light is talking about wisdom. Points of light are points of understanding. Yahweh Shai, as King Solomon says this. And let me see. Of
its founders.
No, that's not what I'm looking at. Let me see right here. All right. This is what I was looking for. This is one of their writings, okay? The seed of mind was implanted in some of the aspiring animal men by the hierarchy, and these animal men became human beings of a very low order, to be sure, but still men. They were sparked, if I might express it, and a point of light appeared where before there was none. What's this talking about? This is talking about when the Most High allowed Esau at the left hand to all of a sudden start to excel in wisdom. They're talking about their beginnings, and we see this. We can see an example of this in Nebuchadnezzar's life. In the book of Daniel, we can see a king, a very highly exalted, very intelligent king, lose his intelligence. Let me do this really quick. I got to give you visuals on this. King Nebuchadnezzar, and my reason returned. My reasoning returned unto me. Returned unto me after he was. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Salakia at the same time, my reasoning returned unto me. What's he talking about? He's talking about his wisdom. Daniel 4:36. Let's get it. 4:36. Okay, then came the magicians, and they couldn't. Okay, thus were the visions of mine head. He's given a warning in a dream that he's going to be cut down. Daniel tells him he needs to repent and humble himself. He doesn't humble himself. He goes through this is the matter of the decree of the watchers and the demand. This is Daniel 4:17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men. And when the Most High raises you up to rule, he gives you light. He allows Satan, the prince demon spirit on the left-hand side, to give that specific nation of rulership light for the determination of their rulership so that they can rule. Just like he gives the Israelites on the right-hand side light so that we can rule. That's the balance. You got to understand this. This dream I, King Nebuchadnezzar, had seen. Now thou, O Belteshazzar, talking about the prophet Daniel, declare the interpretation thereof. So basically, Daniel interprets this particular dream. He saw a tree that was cut down. This is also how we know that men are like in the trees, okay? I'm going somewhere with this. Look, then Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, that means master of the magicians, for 1 hour, and his thoughts troubled him. The king spake and said, Belteshazzar, let not the dream or the interpretation thereof trouble thee. Belteshazzar answered and said, My lord, the dream be to them that hate thee, and the interpretation thereof to thine enemies. The tree that thou sawest, which grew and was strong, whose height reached unto the heaven, because King Nebuchadnezzar in his kingdom was in rulership above all the other nations and races of people on the earth. And the sight thereof to all the earth, whose leaves were fair, and the fruit thereof much, and in it was meat for all, under which the beast of the field dwelt. That's the other races of people, and they're likened unto beasts because they have no light, or they don't have as much light as he does to rule. They don't have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and we understand that King David says, those who are held in honor and die without knowledge of the Most High are no different than the beasts. We get that the Bible interprets itself, okay? Under which the beasts of the field dwelt, and upon whose branches the fowls of the heavens had their habitation. All of the nations were doing business with Babylon. All right? It is thou, O king, that art grown and come strong, for thy greatness is grown and reacheth unto heaven. Talking about the king, and thy dominion to the end of the earth. And whereas the king saw the watcher and an holy one coming down from heaven, and saying, hew the tree down and destroy it, yet leave the stump of the roots therein in the earth, even with the bands of iron and brass in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts of the field. He's going to lose his light till 7 times pass over him. He's going to go through a 7-year period, which is perfection, which is completion. This is the interpretation, O king, and this is the decree of the Most High, which has come upon my lord the king, that they shall drive thee from men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field, and they shall make thee to eat grass as oxen, and they shall wet thee with the dew of heaven, and 7 times shall pass over thee, till thou know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will. So he tells them to repent, right? He warns them. A year goes by. The vision is fulfilled. All this came to King Nebuchadnezzar. At the end of 12 months, he walked in the palace of the kingdom of Babylon. The king spake and said, Is not this great Babylon that I have built for the house of the kingdom by the might of my power and for the honor of my majesty? Pride. While the word was in the king's mouth, there fell a voice from heaven, and I'm saying all this to prove my point on these occultic readings that we're reading. You got to see this first. King Nebuchadnezzar, to thee it is spoken, the kingdom is departed from thee, and they shall drive thee from men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field. They shall make thee to eat grass as oxen, and 7 times shall pass over thee, till thou know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will. The same hour was the fulfillment of Nebuchadnezzar. He was driven from men, and did eat grass as oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till his hair were grown like eagle's feathers, and his nails like bird claws. And at the end of the days, I, Nebuchadnezzar, lifted up mine eyes unto heaven, and mine understanding returned unto me. He got his mind back. He got his light back, and it was instantaneous. He instantaneously became a spark of light, a point of light, 1,000 points of light. He got his mind back. He went from being an animal, to a man. In an instant, the Most High used the Elohim to turn his ass down like a radio, and at the end of 7 years, they turned him right back up again. It was that fast. Okay? And then we see, so when I praised and honored him that liveth forever, who has dominion, is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdom is from generation to generation. Now let's look up the other one. They braid. Talking about they braid. It's in Job. They braid. Let me see. There it is. Let's go back one. Let's go back another one. Okay. Another one. For want. God damn it. Let's just go to the beginning. But now but now they that are younger than I. This is talking about Esau. This is a dark saying going into Esau, okay? And how you determine this dark saying is you got Adam, you trace the sons of Adam, and then you come all the way to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? And in that lineage, you got Esau and Jacob being born, right? Ow. But before Jacob and Esau, you got Isaac and you got Abraham. So that's how you read this. But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, because we're considered the firstborn when you follow the lineage that way, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with my dogs of my flock. Why? Because they were so beast-like, they would have laid with the animals. Yea, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished? For want and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness in former time, desolate and waste, who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat. They were driven from among men. They cried after them as after a thief, to dwell in the clefts of the valleys and caves of the earth, and in the rocks among the bushes they brayed. Under the nestles they were gathered together. They were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. They made animal noises, you guys. And now when you jump over here, you see their history. It's the same record, but it's written on their perspective. It's written on the left-hand side. The seed of mind was implanted in some of the aspiring animal men by the hierarchy. The hierarchy is talking about the Elohim, and these animal men, talking about the Edomites, became human beings. Why? Because their intelligence levels, their wisdom levels, their points of light were increased in volume. Of a very low order, to be sure, but still men, they were sparked. There goes your wisdom. That's your left-handed illumination, if I might so express it, and a point of light appeared where there was none before. Now, this entire family, this entire system of people, they have a religious system that now you go here. You go to Wisdom of Solomon. This is the spirit, you guys. Wisdom of Solomon. You go to Wisdom of Solomon 12. You go to verse 3, 4, 5, and 6. Look, and this is now the system, this religious child human sacrifice trafficking ring system has been developed and perfected by these people who operate in light, and they're those 1,000 points of light. Look, Wisdom of Solomon chapter 12 verses 3. For it was thy will to destroy by the hands of our fathers both those old inhabitants of thy holy land, whom thou hatest for doing most odious works of witchcraft and wicked sacrifices, and also those merciless murderers of children, and the devourers of man's flesh, and the feast of blood, with the priest out of the midst of their idolatrous crew, and the parents that killed with their own hands souls destitute of help. That is your 1,000. Those are the communities. That is your systems. These are your lower level illuminated Edomites who are handing over their children to the higher points of light, but they're doing it based off this understanding. They're not random white people, and they all have jobs. They own companies. They're well-to-do, right? They're not famous, but they're understood. They're in the network. This is what the fucking dude is talking about. Listen, let's go back to the beginning. Look.
We are finally putting America first. We're putting America first. And way, you know, all the rhetoric you see here, the 1,000 points of light.
And this is Donald Trump playing the game, acting like he doesn't know what's going on. He's 1,000% a part of it, but he understands the majority of the earth doesn't know shit about what's going on.
What the hell was that, by the way? 1,000 points of light. What did that mean? Does anyone know? I know one thing. Make America great again, we understand. Putting America first, we understand. 1,000 points of light. I never quite got that one. I'm trying to say, what the hell is that? Has anyone ever figured that one out? And it was put out by a Republican, wasn't it?
See, and he's playing the game, but this is the 1,000 points of light explained. One moment there had been nothing but darkness. Next moment, 1,000 points of light leaped out, single stars, constellations, and planets, brighter and bigger than any in our world. This is Esau's way of precepts. These are his left-handed precepts, and they write things in books and novels.
And the generation born after the Second World War has come of age. I've spoken of 1,000 points of light, of all the community organizations that are spread like stars throughout the nation.
All right, all the community organizations. It's verse 6. With their parents out of the midst of their idolatrous crew, the parents, the priest, and the crew. That's your fucking community of the 1,000 points of light, you guys. You got to see it. With their priests out of the midst of their idolatrous crew, and the parents that killed with their own hands souls destitute for help. That's what's being spoken about.
Doing good.
That's what this is. And the doing good is the human sacrifice. The doing good is them trading their children to give their children so that these motherfuckers can do snuff films, rape them, murder them. And then what? Those people on the bottom, they go up the hierarchy too. All it is Moloch. It's worshiping Moloch, you guys. It's them bringing their offerings and their sacrificial offerings into the priesthood. That's what all this shit is.
We will work hand in hand, encouraging.
That's what he's fucking talking about. People think he's talking about something that has to do with America and patriotism and Republican. No, bro. It's Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, verses 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Sometimes leading, sometimes being led, rewarding. We will work on this in the White House, in the cabinet agencies.
And then this is a snippet of their precepts on the left-hand side. Look. The seed of mine was implanted in some of the aspiring animal men by the hierarchy. That's talking about the powers on the left-hand side. And these animal men became human beings of a very low order, to be sure, but still men. They were sparked. They were illuminated, if I might so express it, and a point of light appeared where before there was none. Wisdom, left-handed, illuminated wisdom, Lucifer wisdom was now given, operated in the Edomites when before they didn't have any. You got to understand that's what this is saying. Now, let's go to fucking TikTok. Look at this shit. Look at these fucking videos. Look.
I'm sorry. We told y'all to.
These are the children that are killed by the parents and the priests with the idolatrous crew. And this is how it manifests in the public when they cover it up and they make it look like it's normal. No. She was an illuminist, born in an illuminated family on the low level, higher than most people, and then some dude, like a Donald Trump guy, raped that girl so hard that she died. Look.
It was years ago that John Benet Ramsey was not killed by her brother, that she was part of a P3D0 traffic ring. Literally, the first time I watched a documentary and they said that she had DNA.
So there go the parents. Her mom and dad are fucking right here. That's verse 6. With the parents out of the midst of their idolatrous crew, and with the priest out of the midst of their idolatrous crew, and the parents that killed with their own hands souls destitute for help. That's what you're looking at. That is an illuministic point of light family that is painted off as a normal white family. There's just no, dude, no.
She had assault documented, and someone tried to pass it off as her riding a fucking bike. And then if you know anything about the pageant world, look, The reason my dad didn't let's do pageants, he has an older daughter, and she had done them for a bit.
She had male semen DNA inside of her body. And they tried to say that she got it into her body by riding a bicycle. So what's that? That's the idolatrous crew, which is what the police officers who are in the know, who are purposely thwarting the investigation to cover over what really happened. And this repeats all the time, everywhere, all day long.
My older sister, it was, John Bonet was trafficked. It went wrong. The night went wrong, and they tried to cover it up. That's exactly what the fuck happened. And the whole police botching it, that was an inside out. You can't tell me that wasn't intentional. So yeah, her being in the files.
Look at her legs. Who takes a picture of a girl? That girl's no more than 7 years old, you guys. She's swinging on a tire with a pair of shorts on, got her legs spread. Come on, man. And I know, and forgive me for you, but you got to see it. Who's the adult? These are professionally taken pictures. The Edomites do this shit all the fucking time, bro. And then they'll gaslight you for seeing it. When you point it out, they'll say you're the pervert. No, you're the fucker that took the fucking picture, man. And you spread it. Look, bro, you can basically see her shit. The only thing covering it is her fucking shorts and the goddamn... That's not the kind of photo you take of your daughter, bro. I just wanted you guys to see that.
Absolutely.
This is an advertisement. These photos are advertisements in their system so that other men can request her, they can pay for her, they can do ceremonial shit to her. It's bro, but it goes back to this. Wisdom of Solomon 12, 3, 4, 5, 6. The Edomites are the only race of people on the planet Earth that are powerful enough, rich enough, and connected enough to perfect something like this.
Tracks. Y'all, this stuff is right in front of our faces. Like, these types of people are so much more prevalent than the everyday person wants to admit. But the everyday person runs across these other people every day. They are the everyday people. It's disgusting. I'm sorry.
I think Kubrick already told us exactly what happened to JonBenet Ramsey. I think this is exactly why the case remains unsolved.
And remember, all the Hollywood movies are what? They're revelations of the method. They believe if they tell you what they're doing in encoded speech, that they have no karmic judgment. It also goes into the prophecy in Psalms. Their own tongue shall fall upon themselves. Remember, prophecy are oracles that the Most High Yahweh has written that govern the spirits on the planet, bro.
Kubrick made Eyes Wide Shut to expose the elites. Epstein's List, their pedo ring. Specifically, what happened.
And he wasn't exposing shit. He was bragging. He bragged too much, and they fucking murdered his ass for doing so because he said too much. He wasn't trying to tell on anybody. He was doing his job as a left-handed Edomite, high-ranking, illuminous director, and he was doing the revelation of the method, but he was too open with it, and they fucking ended his life because he said too much.
At the end, to Helena.
At the end of the day, they still fucking released the movie. They took 25 minutes out. They covered up more stuff that needed to be covered, and they still fucking released the movie.
Their daughter.
Also, I think thinking 3 steps ahead of everybody at any kind of given moment. The 2 men that are throughout the movie that are constantly in the background of the film, you see those 2 guys walking off with the daughter. They're
walking off with the daughter. Why? Because verse 6 tells you why. And also those merciless murders of children and the devourers of man's flesh and the feasts of blood with their priest out of their midst of their idolatrous crew and the parents that killed with their own hands souls destitute for. There goes your system of adults. Verse 6 explains the temple system of adults that do all this shit.
her away. They've given their daughter to the pedo cult.
You really can't ignore the parallels here. It's insane that JonBenet Ramsey was found unalived on Christmas when the whole story with Helena, their child, was unfolding. Both Helena and JonBenet Ramsey are 6 years old. Everything was shown to us, specifically not shown, as Kubrick wanted, and this is why he lost his life. This is insane. I have an inside source that grew up with JonBenet Ramsey, and she believes that the parents were 100% involved. In her memories with
How could the parents not be involved?
and her family, very strange occurrences that align almost parallel to the points that I made in my Eyes Wide Shut video. The men we see at the end of Eyes Wide Shut who are taking Helena, the parents.
See, she's walking. You got this little girl in a movie while two adults, a mom and dad, they're talking about some confusing shit that they've been going through with the other adults. Yet, look on the bottom and between them, you have a little 6-year-old girl. She's just looking, but she's cool, walking away with these adult men. And they're doing this in a movie like it's normal. But you don't, when you're watching the movie, you're not paying attention to what's going on in the background. You're listening to the weird conversation that's taking place between Tom's character and Nicole Kidman's character.
Sold her to the pedo cult. This inside source remembers very similar looking men. They would arrive in a nice black car in suits to the dance class that JonBenet and this inside source would take together. She remembers 2 men in nice suits in a black car who were always by JonBenet's side. She will be following them like she was groomed to do so, just like this. Parallels are absolutely insane. She specifically remembers an instance on her 6th birthday. It was her parents and a lot of older men who were just silent and watching them. This was JonBenet, the inside source, and her friends, 6 years old. This was August 1996, and then she slowly stopped coming to dance class. She believed she was auctioned off, sold to the pedo cult, exactly like Helena was at the end of Eyes Wide Shut. Completely explain the autopsy of S.A. The ransom note and notes in the film have an eerily similar vibe. Obviously, 24 minutes was cut. Everything would have made much more sense if Kubrick put out the movie that he wanted. Tom Cruise's character has exactly the same lawyer as the elites with the pedo ring. Did you?
Why? Because, again, verse 6, with their priests out of the midst of their idolatrous crew, the idolatrous crew, other adults, and the parents that killed with their own hands souls destitute. That's why.
Know that John Ramsey has the same lawyer as Epstein did? Zora spent countless hours replaying memories, and she always had the eeriest feeling. Trying to put the pieces together, nothing clicked until she saw my Eyes Wide Shut video and everything just fell into place. This is exactly why the case remains unsolved 30 years later. Really sinister, dark. Elites were involved. People were paid off exactly how we saw in Eyes Wide Shut. Allegedly, obviously. Also, there's something else that nobody's talking about. An inside source sent me this map. Gives me chills.
So we're going to skip this and go to another video.
Where are you? Are you okay? I loved the torture video. That is an email.
These are the new release of the Epstein files that just came out yesterday or today. Again, it goes into the crew, the priests, the idolatrous crew, the parents. You just keep saying that to yourself over the priest, the idolatrous crew, the parents. The priests, the idolatrous crew, the parents. There is a whole system of adults in families on the bottom, but higher than most people in society that are actively working with people in the government and people that are stronger than people in the government, giving over their children for all types of reasons because of what we see in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, verses 3 down to 6.
Sent to somebody that has been
And
redacted.
it's a whole bunch of Edomites, so-called white people, and this is why they're always redacting their names.
From Jeffrey Epstein in April of 2009. It's a very simple message, but a very telling message. I loved the torture video. Now, obviously, we all know that the Epstein scandal has involved plenty of notorious, wealthy, powerful individuals.
That's your idolatrous crew, and those are your priests, okay? And they're the ones that get to enjoy all the children from the parents because these guys are higher ranking. Just look at them as the priesthood, you guys. Look at them as the temple priests, and they get to freaking, you know how when the Levites would accept the certain types of cuts from the ram or the oxen or the sheep when the 11 tribes of Israel would bring in their different offerings into the temple. It's the same shit on the left-hand side, except they're doing people. And these are that's your fucking priesthood, man. Okay, and just like how the Levites could eat, right? They could eat the certain cuts of meat. That's what they lived off of. You know, they would burn the fat. They would burn the fat and certain bread, you know, and stuff. But the meat, they would eat it, bro. So a lot of the meat they would be able to eat. That's what they lived off of. That was their offering, right? Because their whole labor was the temple. Well, these guys eat the fucking children. They eat the boys. It's you got to understand that's what it is, man.
And I've been talking for years on my social media about the reality behind snuff films and torture rings. Those are real things that exist in the real world. A few weeks ago, I covered the Sasha Riley story. I did a whole video breakdown on my YouTube channel and my podcast, The Conspiracy Files. But basically, Sasha Riley is a victim who has come forward, who claims they were allegedly molested by Trump, trafficked by Epstein and the ring itself. But he talked extensively about torture and being filmed during torture. There are actually a lot of victims that have come forward and stated that they were tortured sexually and physically. There are lots of...
So, 3.5 million pages of Epstein files dropped today. I have been going through them for hours. I'm not done.
The FBI just accidentally released 11,000 Jeffrey Epstein files that they hadn't publicly put out yet, but we got...
Breaking news right now, I've received a statement from multiple Epstein survivors condemning the Department of Justice for its failure.
And there it is. They just said the quiet part out loud. The Trump Department of Justice just said that the public will never see the names of the men who abused women in the Epstein...
Why? Because those names are the priests. Those names are the idolatrous crew. Those names are the parents. Notice how even when they're saying the victims are saying they were trafficked, they never tell you how they were trafficked. They're not going to let you understand verse 6, that there is a system of illuminated people. They're just making it sound like it's just like this some random thing. No, there's a religious, left-handed, human sacrifice element to this whole fucking thing, man. And that's the part they're keeping under. That's the part they're keeping under.
Epstein Files. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, who works under Attorney General Pam Bondi, says that the public will never know the names of the men who abused women. This is literally what he just said. Watch this clip.
Epstein, of your review of the Epstein files. So just
this fucking asshole. Look at this piece of shit's answer. This guy asked him straight out. I got another video. I'm gonna pull it, but this motherfucker. Look at Esau being Esau, man.
to clarify, is the public going to learn the identities of the men who abused the girls with the information that you're releasing? And if not, why not? And then I have a quick follow-up.
Very easy to answer that question, right? Look what he says.
Just baked in an assumption into your question that I have never said and I don't know to be true. Is the public going to learn about men that abuse these girls? Like, what does that mean? I mean, I don't understand what that means.
Well, I mean, they're the men who abused the young women through Epstein's...
Look, we said in July, and it remains as true today as it was in July. If we had information, we meaning the Department of Justice, about men who abused women, we would prosecute them, right?
It's all bullshit because you got all these files with videos and names, but you're covering up the names and you're editing the videos. Fucking Esau. Look at the people. Where are the hackers? They release files and are starting to take them down. One mentioned DT measuring girls. I'm going back to religion simply because I have to believe in hell. It's the only justice we will ever get. They were children, not women. The biggest cover-up in history. Now why Watergate spineless? So many eyes have seen those names. We just need one mouth to sacrifice and let us see it. Look at it, and then that's somewhere showing you all the redactions. So the guy's full of shit, right?
We talked about the work that we're doing.
We would do it if we knew it was all bullshit.
That's why I said that. I said this earlier. There's this built-in assumption that somehow there's this hidden tranche of information of men that we know about that we're covering up or that we're choosing not to prosecute. That is not the case.
It is absolutely the case because the scriptures say it is the case. All right? You guys are doing all of this. This is what the precepts say you're doing, you motherfuckers, man.
No, know whether there are men out there that abuse these women. If we learn,
It's not men, it's Edomite men, it's white men. It's not any random men, it's the so-called white men. See how they even in their cover up, they're generalizing it. So it's like, oh, it's any random guy.
about information and evidence that allows us to prosecute them, you better believe we will. But I don't think that the public or you all are going to uncover men within the Epstein files that abuse women, unfortunately.
Yep, because you're not going to do it.
Breaking news right now.
The FBI.
So,
Where are you?
And they show.
Just to clarify,
Same thing.
is the public going to learn the identities of the men who abused the girls with the information that you're releasing? And if not, why not? And then I have a quick follow-up.
I mean, you just baked in an assumption into your question that I have never said and I don't know to be true. Is the public going to learn about men that abuse these girls? Like, what does that mean? I mean, I don't understand what that means.
Fucking piece of shit, man. I fucking hate Esau, and Yahushai is the only one. Okay, Second Esdras 11. He's the only one that's going to save us and bring justice to this bastard, man. Let me see. Okay, right here. So, Second Esdras, chapter 11, verses 37 on down. And I beheld, and lo, as it were, a roaring lion chased out of the wood. And I saw that he sent down a man's voice unto the eagle and said, Hear thou, and I will talk with thee, and the highest shall say unto thee. So this is Yahushai, right? Coming back on the chariot, coming to bring justice to Esau, Edom, to remove him from power, to sit on the throne of King David. And he's also honoring his father, Yahweh, the Most High, Yahweh Tazabawath. Because even in all of this, as he is representing, he is the most perfect representation of Yahweh in this aspect. He also is still honoring his father. He's not just doing this all by himself, even though he could. He still mentions his father. So look, hear thou, I will talk with thee, and the highest, that's him honoring his father, shall say unto thee, Art not thou it that remaineth of the four beasts, whom I made to reign in my world, that the end of their times might come through them? And the fourth came and overcame all the beasts that were past, and had power over the world with great fearfulness, and over the whole compass of the earth with much wicked oppression, and so long time dwelt he upon the earth with deceit. And this is what we see. This is what we see in all of this. This is what we're seeing in all of this, okay? This is what we're seeing.
So, just to clarify.
All right? That's what we're seeing. For the earth hast thou not judged with truth, for thou hast afflicted the meek, thou hast hurt the peaceable, thou hast loved liars and destroyed the dwellings of them that brought forth fruit, and hast cast down the walls of such as did thee no harm. Therefore is thy wrongful dealings come up unto the highest, to my Father, and thy pride unto the mighty. The highest also hath looked upon the proud times. The Most High, Yahweh, Tazabawathka, has looked upon your proud times, and behold, they are ended, and his abominations are fulfilled. And therefore appear no more, thou eagle, nor thy horrible wings. And this is Yahushai in the 13th chapter of Second Esdras, when he's on the chariot and all the fire is coming out of his mouth. This is what's going to be coming out. Yeah, it's going to be the laser beams coming out of the chariots. But what's it going to be? It's going to be him opening his mouth at the appointed time for war and judgment, and Yahweh Shaphat, and everything from Cain, right, and all the way up until now is going to be coming out of his mouth, bro. And therefore appear no more, thou eagle, nor thy horrible wings, nor thy afflicted feathers, nor thy wicked feathers, nor thy malicious heads, nor thy hurtful claws, nor all thy vain body, that all the earth may be refreshed and may return, being delivered from thy violence, from thy human trafficking, from thy racism, from thy lies, from that manipulation, from that witchcraft, from every fucking thing they do, bro. And that she may hope for the judgment and mercy of him that made her. I pray, man, that this lesson was edifying. And I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bahashim Yahshai, Bahashim HaKadosh, and double honors to the elders and the apostles, the great millstone, of whom I learned from. And shalom to the hopeful elect brothers taking this truth to the four corners of the earth, bidding them to the marriage supper of the Lamb, who is Yahweh Shai. This is your brother Radah. Shalom.